So I feel very disappointed, very disheartened, and very discouraged about our community altogether, especially how the team and I were treated, considering we do everything we do from our hearts. You know, we don't get paid for this, the time that we spend on everything. So I think it's very unfair. But I think it's very unfair, some of the things that they say.
It's okay, Steph, don't let me cry with you.
And, you know, I feel so alone because I can't even tell my family. If I told my family, they would tell me to stop. If I told anyone like what it was like, they would say, because you're not getting paid, just stop, don't do it. But you know, money is not everything. And you know, I came into this with the right intentions. And then I think it hurts even more because the people that would come up to me and say, you're doing a good thing, you know, I support you. This is gonna be great for the next generation. Well, where are they? Because when my character is being assassinated all over online, you know, the people that benefited from my hours, from my letter writing, my petitions, my grants, there's no one there. And then they say things like, oh, you know, our team, we stick together, or, you know, they're covering up for each other. It's not even about that, because we only have each other, right? Because in that moment, everyone has deserted us. And if I did any of the things that they said that I did, that's different. You know, I wouldn't be so upset because, you know what, I did that. You can say that, but I didn't even do any of it, right? And everyone makes mistakes. So I don't understand why they think something so small, which hasn't even been proven, or you know, like, we live in a society where you have the right to innocence, but they're so focused on it. It reminds me of like when the Black people were being persecuted for crimes they didn't commit, but just because they look Black, you know, like, you must be guilty. And I put a post out, so in my personal statement, I said something like, I understand that there are issues in the community, and I wanted to encourage everyone to use a better platform and use better language so that we're not so divided at the end of it. What is the point of VCA at the end of the next election if there's no one there to lead? If the community is so broken, like, what is the point? And then that was taken out of context. Like, everything I said was taken out of context. They twisted things. One person said that I rewrote my statement. I don't know where that came from. Another person said I was like a bunch of crap. And you know, the difference is this is online. So they're intentionally setting out to humiliate you, to make sure everyone can see it. And the fact that no one says anything to defend us, it's like saying that kind of behavior is acceptable, right? And that kind of behavior, you know, amongst school children is what led to a lot of them, you know, committing suicide. And there were laws that were enacted to protect them, to make sure it doesn't happen. Well, then who is protecting us? And then more than that, it just makes me look at VCA and therefore the community differently, because I thought I was going to be a part of making it more modern, you know, because you have to admit, when you go to the meetings, you go to the forums, they're all old people, you know. I don't mean any disrespect, but they're all old. Where are all the young people, right? And I thought me, Linda, Clara, we would bring that in. It just so happened, unfortunately, we had a COVID pandemic, so we couldn't do the things we wanted to do. And so, you know, we're not where we want to be. And I'm at a point where I don't know if it's worth it, okay? Because maybe if I had joined another organization that focused on youth rights and youth potential, that would have gone a lot better, right? But this is my community, and I thought in 50 to 60 years, when, you know, my grandparents are dead, and all the people that traveled in the boats are dead. I didn't want those who were born here to forget why it happened. I read her speech, but I didn't even read it.
Sorry, you made me cry with you.
It's okay. Actually, I want to add something as well. In society, values are always changing. What is important is always changing. So, for example, being gay, you know, decades ago was illegal. But something that is emerging is the significance of mental health. You know, it was a stigma, and we're still trying to lift that stigma. So when that person on the other side of the screen, when they're writing all of those things, I wonder if they think about the person on the other side. And I'm not saying that their words alone are going to be what pushes the reader over the edge, but you don't know what the other person is dealing with. You don't know their mental and emotional health, right? Like how strong are they? And if your words were the last things that tipped them over, would you feel any remorse? And, you know, I read some of them, like I keep rereading them, and maybe that's the problem. I think that if, you know, let's just say I was to, you know, stop breathing because I read something and it pushed me over, I feel like they're the type of person that would say, well, she asked for it because she shouldn't have like volunteered in the community. If you're not a community, if you're not, what did that person say? You have to be strong-hearted, you can't be faint-hearted, something like that. Like it was my fault, you know, and there was just no compassion to it. And like, you know, even animals have rights. So the way that they talk about us is even lower than that. And then I just think, like, you know, allowing it to happen would actually take us back, you know, instead of bringing mental health and acknowledging it into the light, we're actually just taking a whole community backwards. And that was my concern. I'd mentioned to a few people online who are notable figures within our community, and I just said, like, my point was, you can have an opinion. We all have an opinion. We live in a democratic society that is normal, but it is everyone's responsibility to make sure that you don't divide the community even more with your actions and your words. And these people who we consider leaders, you know, I wanted them to persuade the public to that, right? But not many. I think maybe only one, you know, did that. Like said that, you know, we shouldn't talk like this. We can have an educated, open dialogue. Instead, like, it was just like all hell break loose. And I think, again, that also takes our society back a few steps because, you know, our parents came here with nothing. Look how strong Cabramatta, Marrickville, Bankstown is now. You know, look at how many of our kids graduate at 90-something ATAR, becoming doctors, lawyers, and all that stuff. But what is the point of that? You know, if you can't push the rest of them, the rest of the community to be better as well. Yeah, I think that one.